Bonjour et bienvenue à tous nos amis québécois et francophones.
Hello and welcome to the Cabin Boy Knits Woolcast. I'm Christopher.
And I'm Jamie. This is our next episode in our Canadian interview series.
I am super excited about this one. We are interviewing a fantastic designer out of Montreal. It's Jean-Philippe Cliche of Atelier Cliche.
He is an industrial designer by trade, but he's also designed watches, jewelry, children's toys, but ultimately now, timeless, fashionable knitwear.
So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and he'll tell you his story. We are in beautiful Montreal, one of my favorite cities, and we are here to do another interview.
With us we have designer extraordinaire Jean-Philippe Cliche from Atelier Cliche.
Jean-Philippe, we usually ask the interviewee to introduce themselves.
Okay.
So would you mind doing that?
Yeah. So I'm Jean-Philippe. I'm from Quebec City, and then I moved 20 years ago in Montreal. So I'm more a Montrealer than a Quebec City guy. I don't know. We say Quebecer. I don't know. Anyway, it's a past. And then I'm a designer, knitwear designer, and also industrial designer. So I navigate around design all my life, and then now I'm teaching. So it's a new area of my life. I think that's it. So you can go further if you want.
That's it for now. Yeah, we've got lots of questions for you. Yes.
So where do we start?
Why don't we start with the beginning of knitting? Or did you start knitting or crochet, or how did you get into fibre?
In fact, for sure, when I was like 6, 7, my grandmother showed me how to knit, like garter stitch, really easy stuff. And then I stopped for a long time, and I started it again when I saw the company Wool and the Gang doing some huge knits, nudes. I was like, oh my god, I want that. And then I was at the beginning of my career, so a little bit broke. And then okay, I'm gonna learn how to do that. And then I went to a yarn shop, then realized it was not really cheaper to do it myself than buying it, but
yes.
I really wanted it. So YouTube, needle, yarn, and then I learned.
That's awesome. So, how many years ago would that be?
I think it was 2008.
Oh, that's awesome. And so you were inspired then by, I guess the seed was planted with your grandmother, and then the need or the urge or the inspiration came later. That's awesome.
Yeah, it in fact, it came really selfishly because I wanted that. I was not able to find it anywhere at that time.
Yeah.
So it was not in store like it is for a few years. So I didn't have the choice. And then I always liked to do stuff by myself. So I was looking at internet, YouTube. It shows me everything I wanted, I needed, and so
that's fantastic.
Yeah. But I was making so much that I had to say, okay, I have to stop, but I want to knit again. And so a friend was like, oh, I'm gonna buy you one. So I'm like, oh, okay. Are you sure? Yeah, the cost is that because it's not cheap. Wool, it's really expensive. So they start buying me, and then my friend Karine, who is my biggest not fan but supporter.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, let's do some picture. I'm gonna call some friends. We're gonna do it in your loft, and we're doing an Etsy shop. You're selling online. Like, oh, really? Okay, I'm gonna do it. So she helped me. She took the photo. She was extraordinary, and then she became the first one on buying one on Etsy. And then after, I was like, oh, a lot of that. So I was really it was that. The beginning was that.
It's great to have friends like that.
Yeah.
And you need that sometimes because sometimes you're not sure which direction to go, and then you always have a good friend who pushes you and says, "Well, we could do this. This is what we're going to do." I have a friend who could, and that's what it is. I find with the whole fibre community, everybody wants to help each other out, and everybody wants to see everyone succeed, and especially if they're a friend and you know them and they say, "Okay, let's do this." It's and it motivates you even more.
She was not a big knitter. She knit. And then her mother too, so she know how to do it. She was doing basic stuff, but she's a really creative person. So she each time, even like recently, if I don't know if what I did is cool or nice or great or well done, I just have one call to do.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Is it good? Is it nice? Is it like the level I want to be? And she's answering the truth all the time.
That's awesome.
I was going to say she's probably going to be honest. She's one person you know she'll be honest, and it's always going to be good advice.
Yeah, and when she's like,
that's trust.
It's not enough for you. You can do better. I'm like, you are right. I just needed someone to tell me.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people say you're so good. Oh my God, you can do that. Yes, but sometimes you want to be more than just.
Right. Yeah. Jamie hears that all the time. That you're great, you're so good. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So I do have a question. I think she's doing a great job because you have a very distinctive voice in your design. Like you look at that and I can tell that you designed it. Like I think you've got a very clear voice. So I want to go back before knitting and what did you study in school? Because I think it feels like that has some impact on your design.
Probably yes. I studied like industrial design, so it's really for the people who don't know that, because a lot of people think I'm designing industry like it's not clear. It's not like architect that doing buildings.
Yes.
Industrial design, it's everything you own, a glass, a table, someone draw it.
Yeah.
So I'm that person. I'm the person who draw the thing you use.
Yep.
Okay. So product you mostly. So and industrial design, it's more technical.
Yes.
Because it has to work.
Yes.
It has to be perfect, to be produced in millions of copies, sold, have no returns and all that. So it really needs to be like the rule, following the rule.
Sure. Following the rules. Yes.
So probably that guides me into my design because I really like technical stuff, not necessarily straight line, but I like when there's a statement, there's something more structural, different too, because I don't want to just do another raglan sweater.
Sure.
That.
Yep.
And I think I didn't have made one. No, it's not true. I just made one, but like I never designed one raglan standard because it's so already made.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So I could see it, but see, this is the thing, because a pattern, I mean, it's called a pattern because you're going to follow steps. And
exactly.
And so it is technical, but what you're saying is when you're designing something that's going to be more functional as opposed to fashionable and creative, you could blend the two. Now you've got the background in technical, you got to be able to count.
Exactly.
Count and do all these mathematical sort of equations and structure, and so there are rules to the pattern, but you can throw in that creativity.
Yeah, I try.
And come up with something that your friends are going to say, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. And it's funny because now people are still like, oh, do you want me to do that sweater? I'm like, that's funny.
Yes.
Sure, I will.
And I also know a little bit of background. So, you started with the industrial and technical design, and from there, then you had, you were designing something from, commercial signage. You did children's toys and adolescent toys. So you go from.
Did I send you my CV?
You go from an idea.
No, our research department looked at all of this.
You go to my LinkedIn profile.
Basically, I Google stuff. and so you go from this and that and toys, and then that in itself, you're going from an idea, a concept, a drawing, a prototype perhaps. That gets somebody builds a prototype, and then if it's all great, you got a finished product. just like knitting.
Exactly.
And then you did 5 years of men's jewelry. For
Exactly.
5 years,
Yeah.
men's jewelry,
Yeah, yeah.
that's creative.
That's
And watches.
Yeah, and
women's
honestly,
watches.
I was not. No, not I was not. I never thought I will do that much creative.
Yes.
Because when I start studying, I choose that because of that sentence. You're gonna create some things with like limitation. You have to do that in with those conditions.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
it has to
parameters.
be thin. It has to be that material.
Yes,
it
that's-
has to.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
there's a lot of things that I cannot go outside of that. So I have
Yeah.
to be creative in that small area.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Yes.
So when I start working in jewelry, I was the tech guy first, and then I saw like a Swarovski bead, that a crystal that
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I liked it. It's like the shape is different, the facets are like unique, not symmetrical, and then I draw something around that, and then I just saw that, oh, okay, I can still have like limitation or just something to do around, and then go a little bit crazy around that, and then I really loved it. I still miss that doing jewelry. It's like it was very fun.
Yep.
And then poof, I did that for 5 years, and
And that has got your creative juices.
Yes,
flowing.
exactly.
And you're still creating jewels. You're knitting.
yeah.
They're jewels.
Yeah.
They're jewels.
You know what? Why I was
They're
hesitating
special.
because I have a friend that was working there that is from New York, and then when I'm not sure with the words in English, he's just like, no, that doesn't mean that really, even if you think. And then sometimes he was talking about jewelry and jewels, and for me it was the same.
Okay.
But that's what I heard is like jewels. It's more like the precious
Yes.
thing, and
Yes.
jewelry is more like the bracelet.
Yes. And this, we had these conversations
Well, the
before with Quebec.
family jewels as well.
And the family.
Yeah,
This is true. And so yeah, like, and then we said like, oh my gosh, he's such a gem.
yeah,
Right? And English expressions, we had this conversation before between French, English, Quebecois, and Ontario, and we realized, talking to a few Quebecers and those who speak French, that sometimes they don't get our humor, and we didn't know that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I even said in the last couple of days, again, because I always say things, I think it's funny because I just say an expression and they gotta go. Anyway, like if I'm ordering something for you and they just go like, and we realize that you don't, like, our humor is based on maybe words, a play
word
on
that
words.
like yeah.
Yeah, like you have two in French, and so it's not that. It's just the missed point
Yeah.
of the fun. But you do create gems and jewels, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's like something. It's like, and that's another expression in English. When you create anything, it doesn't have to be jewelry. You say it's a jewel
Yeah.
in the rough, like that.
It's-
That's
It's a
that
French is
that
it's
bead
a
that you
joyeux.
saw. A joyeux.
A joyeux. It's like
Oh,
something that it's precious, not necessarily finished, but you know it's
You're going to make it into.
yeah.
Yes. We understand each other.
Okay, speaking of jewels,
Okay.
I think you brought some.
I brought some.
Can we
You
have a
did?
look?
Yes, we can look. I brought some.
And touch.
Okay, first I am really a big hat knitter
Okay.
because I have no hair, and here in Montreal it's really cold. So I bring some.
Anything
Oh,
for
that hat.
that. Oh.
Yeah. So
Yes, these are great.
I really like colors.
Yes.
I really like playing with
You
colors.
do. Jeez, I didn't
And
notice.
other than just stripes,
Yes.
because it's easy doing stripes.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Everyone doing stripes, so I really like intarsia.
Yes, you do. Intarsia in the round.
Yeah.
That's I actually learned intarsia in the round because of you.
Oh yeah, did you
Yes.
did the Vold?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
you did it?
Yes.
Oh, it's funny because I have. Ooh, it's funny because I have none. I haven't made one because I knit two, and then I have to send them to the company because
Yes.
they were, and then they haven't sent it.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, but yeah, knitting in the run it's harder.
It is. Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't know how many times I swore at you while I was knitting this, but I learned something. So at the end, it was a big. I was very happy.
The thing,
I haven't done that.
No.
oh, you should try, but you have to be like very focused on that. You don't watch
I'll figure
TV.
I can't do it.
Because
just
you have to
knitting
put the-
basics and
you have
I
to
have
put-
to watch everything. I don't I watched like this the whole time.
Yeah, you're focused though. You are very focused when you knit.
Well, I don't want to make any mistakes.
Oh, mistakes are part of the process. Don't
Oh,
be shy of that.
He tells me that. He tells me that.
We need that on a T-shirt.
Oh,
he needs to
yeah.
look at that. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
no
just
problem.
yarn.
It's just, I just want to be.
Yeah. It's gonna be perfect anyway, and it's gonna be unique to you. It's
Yes.
your.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like intarsia, and in fact, the hat that you made is the only one of all my intarsia knits, or almost, that is in the round, because after that I discovered sewing.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
And I thought I was hating it. Hating?
Yeah.
Hating. Usually, you know, Quebecois, we have a problem with the H
Yes.
Yes.
in front of, in front of the word. So I'm like, did I say eating it or hating it?
Yes. Yes. It's different.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I know what you meant.
I thought I hate sewing, and
Yeah.
then I did like just I did this one. I'm gonna show you this one. We're gonna come back to the app after.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
have some questions for on this
Yeah.
as well.
I did that intarsia sweater,
Oh.
which is for
yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic.
that's for kids.
Yes.
I did see that one online with the
Yeah,
pocket.
the
I loved
pocket.
it.
I have the adult version. It's
Yes.
called. This one is called the Bernito, and
Yeah.
the adult one is the Berni. And I did it open and then sew the side,
Mhm.
and then I just realized it was so zen and so relaxing that I was missing a bit that part, and it's giving like some structure to the fabric that sometimes we need.
Okay.
So sometimes I do it in the round, sometimes not. And for sweater like that, I did not do the side.
I love it. I love this. It's great.
Yeah, so-
It actually reminded me of I thought of toys, like a toy store or toys, when I was looking at the kids one that you have on your Ravelry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I really like it. It's
So,
really
and
nice.
then how does that pouch add on? Like, I know you both know what you're talking about, but I don't. So we actually did it in sections and then you stitch them together.
In fact, we did
Is that how-
the
what do
whole
you mean by
process
the
from top to down,
Yes.
just before the band.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pick up stitches here with
Mhm.
the hook, the crochet hook,
Yeah.
to bring some stitch in the front, and then I knit the whole panel.
Oh, you like this, and then
Yeah.
yes.
So, and then
you pick up
after
the
here-
stitches, and then you add the panel.
I had the panel,
Yeah.
and then after I knit all that together to do the band. So the
Oh,
two,
the panel,
yeah.
and then knitted that, and that closes
Exactly.
and you end, and then you end it here too. This ends here. Like
The-
when you're going, you're just going like this. You're
Yes,
going
I'm just doing a
here.
panel to have it
Picked up the
open.
stitches, and then you continued, but then you continued right in, and then you did the base.
Yeah, because I like
Ribbing.
merged here.
You
Yeah.
merged.
I merged front and
Oh my
back.
god, it's so
and then-
technical.
But what's great
How
about
did you
this?
figure that out?
I'm-
Mr. Technical.
I just like, okay, that's what I want. I don't want to sew. I
Yes.
don't want to sew that because it will show. Because
Yes.
sometimes it will add like some pressure because you sew and then-
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want it to be like a bit secret, a bit like.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what it looks like. It looks seamless. It,
It
looks
is.
like it just flows.
Exactly.
It looks and it's flat. I was expecting to see a bump here.
No, yeah,
and
there's
there's
no
no bump. It's fantastic.
And it is secret because when you pulled it out, I thought, oh, that looks like the one that has the pouch, but this one doesn't.
Yes,
That was my first thought.
yeah.
When you pulled it, because you don't
Exactly.
see it.
It's not. It's really not showing. You can see
That's
I think,
fantastic.
from the other side a bit. Oh, not even. But yeah, a little bit because it's thicker there because there's two layers. But it's really, you see here, it's the one that I pick, tuk, 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 and then it's going to the
Oh,
other
that
side.
is so good.
But this side it's really like seamless.
And this yarn, this blends beautifully with that, with
Yeah.
a little bit of gray that is picked.
Yeah,
Yes.
this one is with the mohair, and
Yeah,
it has one mohair color that blend with the gray and the pink.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's really nice.
And then you
And the
have-
yarn
and then
that
you
you
have
used.
that.
It's Urso
Okay.
from
yeah,
Paul.
yeah.
It's a Quebecois brand. She's doing like amazing stuff.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, she have a lot of things to do, and then a lot of a product. I mean, and then yeah, I did the. We
So
did
you
a
are-
collaboration for Twist. This one was for Twist.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Twist the festival.
Yes.
That's the festival in Quebec.
Yeah, it's what's the place? Not
Saint-André-Avelin.
Saint-André-Avelin, oui.
Parce qu'on était juste là à Montebello et puis je le savais parce que j'ai vu l'histoire de Montebello et puis les petites villes aux alentours qui forment la région, puis Saint-André-Avelin. C'est une des petites régions avec Papineau, je ne me souviens pas l'autre.
Ouais. Papineau, je pense que c'est le nom de la MRC ou.
Il y a une petite ville, ville Papineau aussi,
okay.
parce qu'on a passé, I forget the word, along the river.
Okay.
So there was we went through a little Papineau,
Yeah.
the actual Papineau,
Yeah.
and then Saint-André-Avelin, and
Okay.
there's another, and that's all the area.
Okay, can we jump back to the hat?
Yeah.
So this is the Ive.
The Ivy, yeah, the
Yeah,
Ivy, because it's this year. This year, I decided to call my pattern the name of a famous designer, or not so famous. It depends.
Well, it depends, I guess, if you're an Apple owner.
Yeah.
And then he's a god to some people.
Yeah.
I'm lost because I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Is that the word you asked me about earlier? Because you asked me
Yeah,
if it was
yeah,
a
yeah,
French
yeah,
word, and I was like,
No.
that's not a word. I don't know what that is.
It's John Ive.
Okay.
I just can't remember if it's Ive or Ivy.
I think it's Ive.
Yeah, Johnny Ive. John Ive. He was the creative director of Apple for like so many years.
Okay.
And each time, usually when they do like a big announcement, there was a video of him talking very slowly, very like pose, and then
Yes.
he show how things are done, and I'm like, oh my god, that's like so crazy. I really like to know how things are
Yeah.
done, and seeing it like to have like the best product.
Yes. That's what you want to aim for sure.
Yeah, and then that's why this one was called that.
Okay.
And my next, just to jump for something that we said earlier.
Yeah.
My next cardigan that I haven't brought today because it's finished, but it's not finished yet.
Yeah. It's not ready for prime time.
Exact. I've called it the Claf Cardi, and it's for Karine, my friend that's always helping me.
Oh, that's so nice.
Because when I
Great.
show her, she's like, oh my god, I love that. I'm like, okay, can I call it your name? Because I'm calling this year, I'm calling my pattern designer's name, and even if you're not like internationally known, you're like the best to me. So
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So good. And I was going to say when you said, well, I didn't bring it yet because it's not finished, and I was going to say, is that because Catherine didn't have a look at it yet? And it's funny that your name, that's going to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, she looked at it and she loved it.
That's great.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's so good.
No, it's done. It's just because it was like wrinkled.
Wrinkled, yes.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's not looking good enough. That's why. So it's finished, but it's not like fully blocked. And
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
No.
You have to describe to Jamie what blocking is.
I know what blocking is.
So
Because my sweater, I have to block it.
So you put it in a box, and then put some rocks on it, so it's gonna block it.
Yeah.
No.
No. I gotta make it just, where I need to pull it a little more this way, that way.
Okay.
Or, because my neck has really gotten, through COVID, my neck got a little bit bigger. You gotta just kind of, and
Adjust it. Yeah.
with a little spray water and then pin and then go, oh, I did it perfectly. Blocking
Yeah, exactly.
helps.
Blocking,
with the-
blocking, yeah, and it saves some stitches.
I've been learning a lot. I've been learning a lot since, doing all of this, so.
But are you knitting? Yeah.
I'm
But-
about to. I've said this so many times because I've
Oh,
just
you've
about.
opened up Pandora's
No, I
box.
just knitted my first sweater.
In a good way.
I did my first sweater, and that's a good question for you though because you've been doing this for some time and you're designing now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask the question because I just knitted my first sweater and I'm going to wrap that up because I'm almost done into here. But in my mind, it blows my mind. It still does. Absolutely. I've done a hat. I've done a scarf.
Yeah.
But this garment.
Yeah.
We're used to just going somewhere. Just going over to the store and picking something up and go, oh my gosh, I love that, and then you pay and you wear it and it fits perfect because you tried about 6 of them on,
Yeah.
and you make something to fit and you made it with your own hands. You just picked up something you saw, this ball of wool, a skein, and you create something and it's like, oh my gosh, I made this.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting that feeling for the first time. But for you, it's a long time ago. So how,
To be honest,
when you
it's
first knitted something,
not a long time ago.
but now you still get,
Yeah.
not that long ago, I know.
No, I mean, because the first sweater that I finished,
Yes.
it's a design.
See?
it's not something that
Right.
Yeah.
I brought it though.
So you still can get very exciting when you have an idea of a design and there it is. You still
Yeah.
get that. Do you still get that?
Yes,
You
for
must,
sure.
Because you're a designer.
The first time I designed, I used like something I had already that I know was fitting
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
And taking measurement, looking at the measurement that was standard, because there's like I think it's the craft conceal or knitting conceal. There's a website, like I said, I don't remember names, but, and then they said, okay, for that length of shoulder, usually it's that size for the longer, from the length of the arm, the bust, and then I just like double confirmed that they were
Yes.
they were true, they were right. Like, oh yeah, that's right, that's measurement. Okay, I can like follow those measurements
Yes.
to make it
Yep.
to make it, and then I just like draw it and then find how to do it, and then I did it.
Fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love seeing color. I love seeing your use of color. I think it's great. I love the way you incorporate it into sweaters and your hats as well. These are...
Tell us
Yeah.
about this one, because this, when you pulled it out, my new favorite
Mid-
color is this.
The middle
rusty.
one?
And so when you put it here, I thought it was, and I was going to ask you.
Yeah, this was my first, I think, design with intarsia. It's kind of a basic hat, but I mean, it's not a rib one by one rib. It's like a two by one by two.
Sure.
There's a pattern in the ribs, but
Yeah.
I did not want
yes.
it just that. I wanted something more, so I did. Okay, I want a square in the front.
Oh.
So that's why
yeah.
I went for that design here.
Mm-hmm.
It was my first. It's not the best because I used another technique for knitting intarsia in the round, which leaves some bigger holes in the transition. It's not the same that I use for the Vold hat,
Sure.
which I made. But I still really like this one. It's my first that I did with the, I don't remember the yarn. I know this one is Juliaslin Renard, the color Renard.
I'll check on Ravelry.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know what Renard is, Christopher? It's fox.
Oh.
So see how that.
But this one is not a silver fox.
This is
It's a brown fox.
it's the, yes, red fox.
It's a
brown,
red fox.
rusty fox. Renard.
Jamie, we'll have to knit this with silver in it.
Yes, silver fox. But I was okay. So I'm not sure how that's done, because when it came to my sweater, I wanted to do this on the elbow with a different color, and I didn't know how that was going to work. And you have this here, but this is something completely different than what I was doing, because I wanted to match I did a simple stripe here, but I wanted to take that stripe and then add and it would look like patches here. And I thought that's going to get too complicated to try.
Was
to
it
do.
in the round?
It was in
Oh,
the round.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do it. This is
When
different.
you're- yeah,
this
when-
because this is in tarsia.
No, this isn't tarsia, but because it's rib, it's like ça pardonne.
Oh, ça pardonne. Yeah, it's forgiving.
It's because it's ribbing. It's forgiving, like the transition here, that
yeah.
technique.
Yes.
If you don't use the proper one, it can be messy.
And when you look at it, it looks like perfection.
Yeah, because you don't see it because it's inside the pearl row.
I love it.
That's why I don't mind doing that previous technique. But yeah.
And what about this stitch?
This stitch is the
Oh,
stitch of my
wow.
next cardigan. That is
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
That's
Because I love that stitch a lot. I knit like
That's
the
beautiful.
the winter, no, the fall version of that hat. This one
Yeah.
is the winter one because there's mohair and it's thicker.
Yeah.
But I have a shorter one that is the same stitch. I don't know if there's a name of this stitch. It's not super hard to do, but you have to
Yeah.
follow a certain pattern.
So you're knit, and then
You knit, and then it's like 2 stitch of kitchener stitch, and then 2 stitch of garter, and then
Okay.
So here it's always the same pattern, and then here it's like purl, knit, purl, a row knit, a row purl, a row knit.
Okay.
So it's creating like that.
Sure.
Yeah, and sometimes we almost think it's darker in the middle.
Oh yeah.
But it's,
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
Yes.
It show more on the cardigan that you'll see
That's very
soon.
nice.
It has like
Yeah,
the nuance of the.
exactly. And I
Almost
love
like
that
a
one
shell.
because it's really squishy.
Yeah, it is. It's
Oh,
nice.
that's good.
Yeah.
I love the idea that no one would ever think of a hat as a fall hat and a winter hat.
Oh
Like
yeah.
you say, it gets cold in Montreal. You want a thicker hat. You
Yeah.
want a
Yeah.
different wool. And then a lighter hat for the fall, where you just need
Exactly.
something to keep you a little bit warmer, but
Yeah.
you don't want to be so warm. That
Maybe
it's,
not the ear completely.
Yeah, your ears. You
yeah.
don't have to.
These are all
So,
winter.
so
Never
what are
think
the
about that.
bases of this? It's a mohair and this
It's
is
different. These are different. These are
Yeah.
like probably wool. Both are wool plus 1 strand, or no, 2 strand of mohair.
Okay.
And this one is 2 strand of fingering weight yarn and 1 of suri.
Oh, okay.
Suri?
Yeah,
Suri?
sure. Yep.
Alpaca,
Yeah.
brush alpaca.
Yeah.
So it's
Nice.
It's nice. It's really, really, really soft, and it's really, really, really hot.
Is that how what you were talking about? You just combine them
Yeah,
together
yes.
as you knit. You
Yeah.
Yeah,
just do
yeah.
the
You have 2 balls, and then
you literally put them together,
Yeah.
and gives you just that more halo, more fuzzy.
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
hair, and then one just to give it a little.
Exactly.
And is this undyed or is it dyed?
No, this one is dyed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all dyed.
Looks great.
It's from this one is with Emilia and Philomene. It's an all dyed.
And 3
Yeah.
different colors.
Yeah, 3 different colors,
Oh, yeah,
but
Very
it's
subtle,
really
very
close.
subtle,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
That's great.
Yeah, I love that kind of mixed. Sometimes I really go flashy,
Yeah.
and then sometimes like okay, I want something like tone on tone to
Yeah.
be more.
This is always for your good friend when you're in a group and he or she tends to like wander away and like, there we go, he's over there.
The guy with the.
There he is.
You
There
can't
he is.
miss.
Okay. Yes. Spot that one in the head.
Exactly.
Someone who's a little more flashy.
I like the flashy one. I don't know.
Great.
That was like last year. No, 2 years ago. This one was the yellow was last year. So I don't know which flashy color will be like my obsession this season.
Okay.
I haven't found yet, but I think maybe it's gonna be like a neon blue.
Oh,
that would be
that's nice.
That will be
Yeah.
nice. I think.
I think
yeah.
it should because blue's my favorite color.
Oh yeah.
I think
I
you
love
should go
blue,
with
but I never wear blue.
You
It's
don't?
really rare. Yeah.
Okay.
Blue
And I
makes Ginger's
use-
eyes pop.
I just always loved it since I was a
that's
kid. I don't know
why.
why. No, I always loved it because it's on
No,
child.
my eyes. I don't
But,
care.
but I really love this one.
So,
And
okay,
I love this one. And
Montreal seems to
I love
be a
this.
bumper crop of creativity, especially with fiber. Like there are phenomenal dyers here and around outside of Montreal, Quebec, let's just say Quebec, and a lot of great designers. Where does that come from? Like, where is that all coming from?
I don't. Honestly,
Is it in the
I don't
water?
know. Yeah, probably.
Is it in the water?
Probably. In fact, we have. I don't know if it's that. Probably it helps, but it's not just that. But we have like a Facebook group that's called Vive la Laine, and there's 18K person on that group.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a huge one, you know.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's I don't know an English one that is that much
Oh,
member.
okay.
So already there, we know that there's a lot of people that's knitting and that want to share it, want to talk
Yeah.
about it. It's all kind, all level, all budget, all it's
Yeah.
all mixed, and
Yeah.
it's perfect like that because
That's
everyone
right.
is just enjoying it. I don't know if it's that, but I know that it connects me to the
Community, yeah.
yeah, because before like 3 years ago, I was alone in my basement knitting.
Wow.
All like from 2008 to 2017,
Yeah.
it was it was only me. And then I started knowing people, going at the knitting night, and then
Oh yes.
make friends, and then sometimes we have like, okay, let's do a knit and drag race at night. So we
that's fine.
we just bring our knitting and then watch like the episode of the week.
How do I get into that?
That's good.
Have you seen Spanish Drag Race?
No.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
it's too much for me because there's like everywhere drag race right now.
I know.
But my friend Max and Vincent saw it and they told me it was amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It is
See,
incredible.
I have to say,
It is
it's
the
such a-
best.
The
Even though there's a
so good.
Canadian Drag Race, the Spanish one is fantastic. It's amazing.
This was different.
I love the UK one.
Yeah, it's good.
I love
It's
the
good
UK.
too.
They're more like crunchy and funny, and
Yeah.
they're just not there to be like,
Yeah,
you know.
That's right.
exactly.
Yeah. And the Spanish one's a comedy. It's like watching a comedy show.
And when are they going to have a fashion category where it's like knitting extravaganza?
Oh my god, it would be amazing. I know once, I think it's Milk. She arrived with the crochet dress.
Yes.
You
homemade.
would remember.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
something to tell you. This guy performed on the same stage as Milk
Oh.
in drag in Provincetown.
Not really
Oh,
drag.
and are we
I'm gonna see. Sorry, not drag party. It wasn't
I
you.
would say it was just a performance.
He did a performance on stage.
art performance?
Yes, it was an art performance.
No wig, no makeup,
And he got a standing ovation.
but there was a dress.
Oh,
There was a
and we're
dress.
gonna have some picture like
Oh yeah, we'll put that on
while
the
we yes.
No, we won't be having that. It's not knitted, so it's not appropriate.
Of course it is.
Yes, it is.
But I was going to ask though, with the creativity and knitting, I mean, there's long history and tradition in Quebec. I mean, Quebec being, established area long before any other part of the country from, let's say, European influence, and sheep that would have arrived here from the French were probably, you had mentioned that the thought is
1600s.
maybe Cheviot?
Cheviot. It's Cheviot like.
is possibly, or Cheviot like sheep that would have been here. So knitting goes back right from the early days of European arrival.
Yeah, because the
in
indigenous people
Montreal,
were
Quebec
weaving
City.
it prior to the Europeans arriving.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
And there are techniques that, we talked earlier, other episode about the couch and sweater and how the European influence on them learning different techniques. But if you think about sheep and knitting as wearable garments, that goes back forever.
yeah.
And now it's become like what you're doing, where it's all about fashion and design.
Yeah.
But functionality, because you need
Yeah,
wool.
functionality, but
We need wool, and people don't
Yeah.
realize that.
yeah, we need wool.
Why
but-
wear polyester in the winter when I mean it might
it's
turn
so
to
cold.
ice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
ice and freeze on you when wool. It's
Yeah, they think
natural.
people is
It's-
itchy. It's like not comfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be, but honestly, it's like it's breathing. It's warm.
Yes.
It's just if you get wet in that, you're not gonna be cold right away because when it's polyester or whatever, the water just stay there. It's not.
Yes.
It's not
That's right.
absorbing.
Yes,
so
that's right.
if there's like some wind, ooh, you have like the mix of hot and cold and yeah.
And I had cycling jerseys that were made out of wool, and so I'd be cycling in 90-degree weather, but it whisks the sweat off, so it was comfortable. Like it was
Yes.
thin wool. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wool.
Good in all
That's the thing
seasons.
about the wool because it breathes, and you're right. You could wear a light wool design in the summer, and the perspiration, and then it evaporates.
Yeah.
It evaporates from the wool, whereas other,
Yeah.
not natural fibers. It's as you say mentioned. So people don't realize sometimes, and nowadays too, with there's so much production of wool and variations of wools and wool blends like yourself that you incorporate in your designs that. You can have super soft wool that's not going to be irritating to
Exactly.
your skin. There's so many varieties now.
To be honest,
choices.
even if it's a bit rustic,
Rustic,
I really
yes.
like that. I really like the
Yes.
feel that
On
it's
your-
something. Yeah, it's something natural. I was about to say real. It's not exactly the word, but it's kind of also that you made it. It's I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think we're starting to see that more in yarn shops as well. More yarn shops are starting to carry a greater variety of sheep breed, and also more that have not been treated as well as superwash. So there's still life in it. The barbs are still there. There's a lot of life.
Yeah,
in it.
there's
and there's
texture.
definitely
And the-
purpose for it as well.
Yeah, and the texture is
The texture.
is
Yeah.
different too. It's
For sure.
more no, not necessarily more, but usually it's lighter because it's not treated, so there's no like wax or whatever
Yeah,
things
plastics.
on the
Yeah.
Yes.
plastics on our things. So sometimes it's like you need a little bit less. Not necessarily a bit less yarn, but usually there's more yardage in the untreated one.
Yeah.
So it means maybe one less ball to
Sure,
buy.
yeah. But we have a hat that we knit with Gotland wool from Gotland sheep, and you put it on and you can't feel anything on your head. It feels
So
feels
good.
like air, and it's so nice. It's my favorite, one of my favorite hats to it. But yeah, you're right. Like it's
It's light. It's more.
yeah, it's like, yeah, and
It's
it's
just
really
as warm,
warm.
even though that's the thing with the proprieties of the different wools.
Yeah.
You can have this super light wool, but it's just as warm in anything other than if it's merino or if it's like you say mohair or anything that's creatively designed. It's also going to be functional and warm and different
Yeah.
variations of warmth.
And you
like
said
we talked about.
fashion lately before, and usually when I get inspired,
Mhm.
I don't look at what other knitwear designer do. I'm just
That's
looking
good.
at okay, what's on trend now, what huge or international designer are doing, what kind of shape, do they have like some details I would like. So I'm more there when I want to have a new design. Then okay, what's already made, what's trending with other designers, because you don't want to be like the other one.
Right.
So you could look at any sort of, if you watch any sort of fashion program, like you say, you could pick little details of something to incorporate in. It could be something from, let's say, a dress, but you're not doing a dress.
No,
but
no.
you take that little something that you think is, and then use that and incorporate it into
I
your.
just watched Making the Cut on Amazon.
I knew you were going down there. I knew you were going to say it is. I love that show.
I did our other friend yesterday. We talked
Came up
to him,
yesterday.
and I was just shocked that like, why is everybody watching this? But oh my gosh, it's good. So you pick up things.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw a detail
I've got
in
goosebumps.
I saw a detail in the sleeve there, and I was like, oh, maybe if I put that there, I fused them there, it could have that nice shape. So
Yes.
Oh, that is good.
yeah. So
But that's what designers do, right? That's
Yeah.
what you do. That's what you have an eye for something, and then you will create something based on other. Everybody shares ideas, but you see it and you.
and no one's
it and-
creating new 100% new
Yeah,
stuff.
that's right.
It's,
It's almost impossible.
it's almost impossible, and especially in the knit community, knitting is there for like, I will say million years, but maybe not. But like for so many years that it's impossible to. And sometimes you do a new design, and then you can find this one in like an old magazine
Yes.
from the 70s.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
at the end.
And we've come across very old from the 1930s and 40s and 50s.
Like collect old patterns.
And some of these patterns. And
Okay.
but you look at those designs and you think, that is really cool. Like, how come nobody's making that anymore, that particular
that-
hat?
yeah.
But it's so cool. And I'm like, that, I would wear that today.
The thing that came last year as a trend, it was more like an emerging trend, not like a common one,
Yeah.
was the balaclava.
Yeah. Yes.
Balaclava.
Yeah.
It when you look at those cool Instagram knitting accounts
Yes.
that are maybe less classical.
Yeah.
Yeah, we say that. That are less like traditional.
Yes.
Tradition,
Yeah.
yes.
It's more like fashion oriented or young or new thing, and the balaclava. It's like it was it will probably this year too, but it was a thing. It's a thing.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something you.
And that's something you would have saw in the old magazine, like
Yeah, for sure.
old.
Oh, yes. And some have a little cap here like this.
Oh.
And- yes, right. But
In the
so
camera.
you were talking about the balaclava, and I was thinking like, you have these cowls that are, that has the string, and you pull on it,
Yeah.
and then to keep it cozy. And so I was thinking,
I just bring.
That's exactly what I was talking
It
about.
was not planned.
This is what I was talking about because this is ingenious. This little detail because you're always wanting a little cozier here, so
Yeah.
why not have that? But I was thinking like balaclava, you know, tight here, and then you would have it kind of maybe like a cowl where it'd be more fashion.
More like
But
today.
you already thought of that, didn't you?
Yes, I have something on my mind
Yes.
that I just need the time to go to do there
Okay.
because I have like a lot of things.
Is this
to do
similar to
now.
your sweater? Like your sweater?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's this.
Same.
It's the same pattern from my first sweater.
Your
that I
first
did.
sweater?
My first sweater ever. Which
What?
is the same here that I.
Oh my
brought.
gosh.
Oh yeah, that definitely looks like your first sweater.
Wow.
Are you
It doesn't
kidding me?
look-
Your first
sweater.
sweater. Get out of here.
But
That is amazing. That's so nice.
to be honest, it's my first
I love
finished
that.
sweater.
Okay.
Because I made a lot of other ones
Sure.
that just
Oh my
go there
gosh.
to the arm or just stop there because I was like bored. Or I
Really
think when
nice.
I was younger, I was less patient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to finish it, and I'm just working on it.
That's
So that
really
was my
nice.
first,
Gosh,
my
I
first
love that.
sweater.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So you knit the front panel first? or-
No, that's in the round.
It's in the
This one
round.
is in the round. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes, I made it to
See?
look like a
A scene.
A scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to. Yeah, I made it to look like that, but it's not. It's not
Wow.
a scene.
Is it just plain at the back? This has.
Yeah,
at the
this
back?
is the back is plain because
Oh.
sometimes too much is too much.
Yeah, no, you just. This is
Yeah.
what you want.
Yeah.
Really
This is
nice.
what you see. Oh my god. First, that's incredible.
And when I say I'm not into the
Pocket.
raglan shape, this one shows because it's kind of a stripe on the shoulder.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
can
Yes,
see
right
the-
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's doing like a really nice shoulder, like straight there,
Yes.
and then the arms.
Yeah, I love this. It's really nice.
That is really fantastic.
And that one is in a rustic yarn.
Yep.
Yes,
It's,
you could tell.
it's the Nurtured by Julie Asselin. I don't know if you know that yarn. It's amazing. I love
Yes,
it so
I've got
much.
some at home.
As you said, this has, like you say, this has like more body and more texture.
Yeah.
and it's,
Yeah.
it's nice and.
But this one is really
Winter.
hot. I cannot wear it like just to go to work because it's really, really, really hot.
I like
Did
the
you add the
detail.
pocket?
Yeah.
Did you add that or that
Yeah,
was
I
part of
added that, and there's another
I
corner
love
side
Yeah,
to
that's
go with
interesting.
Nice.
to go with the little line there.
Oh, and this.
And
is
there's
another
an
little
open
detail.
Yeah, I really like details.
So is this intarsia in here? Like how
No.
How did you just?
No, I put those stitches and then knit the panel,
Mm-hmm.
and then after I sew it on the side here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So here you can see a little bit of the sewing, but
I still don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I still
Not
don't
very
understand, but. I don't
Yeah,
know how
no,
that
so
works.
Really
everything.
nice. That's
I
beautiful.
don't understand how this is left open. I don't even understand.
You just yeah. Sometimes you
Well,
just
by
have
the
to read. Yeah.
Read it and follow a pattern.
Available on
Available
Ravelry.
on Ravelry. Like
There's a
every-
pattern like that, and I could follow it, and I could do it because he made it, and then I could follow it, read it, and do it. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And I try to make the pattern really easy to remember.
Yeah.
I don't like when you have to, okay, I finish a row,
Yes.
what's next row? So even the pattern on the front, you can easily remember that, okay, I'm there, I just have to do that movement, but one stitch later to have
Yeah.
the diagonal stitch. And each of my pattern are done by step. So first step, you do that. Second step, you do that. Third step, you do that. So you really like, okay, that's for the first step, and then when you're done, you go to the other side.
Sure.
Don't have to go to the.
So that helps you stay focused, and then you feel accomplished as you go. So you're not thinking of the whole sweater at once.
Yeah.
Just do a section. Next thing you know, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, and it's not overwhelming.
No,
That's
exactly.
what it sounds like.
But that's what I want it to sound like.
Oh, that's.
And even when I'm doing the test knit, because you probably know, or I don't know,
Yes.
when you're designing something, you want to make sure it's working. So
Yes.
you ask people to do it.
You're testing it. Yes.
And then when I write the pattern, because my biggest secret is I hate writing patterns. I hate. I hate.
Now we'll keep it. We'll keep it. a
No one will
secret.
know.
No one. Okay, perfect. It took me so long to do so. Even with my test knitters, I'm like,
Yes.
okay, your first deadline is that day to do that part and that part, and it's not because I like to make sure they are on time. It's just because I have write just that part, and I'm not done with the rest.
It sounds like that show you were just talking about now. Now it sounds like the show.
So we were talking earlier about it being inspired by older patterns or things that were in the past. So I noticed one of your patterns reminded me of a Dickie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so
A Dickie.
A Dickie.
A
So
Dickie.
can you talk about your Dickie?
And what's a Dickie?
What's
don't
a
remember
Dickie?
what a
It's
Dickie is.
little. No, I mean it's in French we call it a faux col, which is like a fake cowl. Like
Oh, well, that's so appropriate. Yeah, that makes
or it's
sense.
a faux. It's, yeah.
Is it col?
A collar? Yeah, a collar.
So like a faux collar.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
it's
the
a-
thing. Oh, it's the thing like this or something.
It's like just that part of a sweater.
Yes.
In fact,
Yeah.
it's that part of the sweater that you put under a coat, so you have that warm, and it looks like you're wearing a
And you
sweater.
put it over your head.
Yeah, you put it over
Yes.
your head.
Yes.
I wore one when I was a kid when I went to school. In the winter time, my mother would put one on
Yeah,
and
yeah.
send me off to school.
And you saw
Yeah.
those in designs in the past, or you saw the almost like the balaclava, and then it had
Yes.
this. Like,
Yeah,
this.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's wear both
Like this.
together. Yeah,
Yeah.
Usually it's going
It's about.
it's about there because you
Okay.
want to close your coat and not seeing the end.
Oh,
So
okay.
it really looks like you have like a
We had them now that I think about it in our choir, where they had them like a faux, almost like a faux turtleneck, and you were under. So
That's-
you wouldn't wear
yeah.
a full turtleneck. You had this.
That's that.
And you wore it under because it was the fake turtle, just to give you the white.
You were in the choir?
You can tell me that. I was a performer.
We've got all these
Oh,
secrets. All these
God.
secrets. Jeez, we're finding out so much.
So we have a video.
It's not about me. I don't sing. I don't sing, and I try to knit. And that's okay.
Okay, so what's
That's a
A
Dickie.
Dickie, and you
Yeah.
designed one.
Yeah, in fact, I designed more than one,
Yes.
but I haven't arrived.
it's still the pattern?
It's up to-
Still in the process.
I have a huge
it's up to
one.
Catherine. It's not there yet. It's
Yeah.
not past the Catherine proof yet.
No, it's really past the Karine.
I said
proof.
Catherine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Catherine.
Karine.
Catherine.
Yeah. And the first time I made one, it was to sell it, and she's like, Jean-Philippe, it's next level. I love it.
I love
That's
that.
an ultimate compliment.
Yeah. She's like, I want one in gray and brown. I said, okay.
You talk about YouTube. This could be part of your, because you're talking. What's the show you were talking about? The design.
Making
show.
the cut.
Making the
Yeah.
cut.
Making
This
the cut.
sounds like this is meant for you, because between you and Karin, you have such. I can see a
Yes,
dynamic.
but I cannot sew.
But you don't want to give away all your trade secrets. But there you would have it where that's the line. What
There you
the line
go.
you just said, that is going to be the tagline every
Next
time.
level.
Next level.
That's next level.
I love it.
So what's up next for you?
Oh, what's next for me? I have like so many designs on the road, and it's fun because now I'm more known, so people in the industry just ask me, hey, do you want to do a design with my yarn? I'm like, yes, I want that.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah. Because when you're not super known, you have like to reach out.
Well, you've been in the
people, and-
newspaper. We saw the article about you in the newspaper. and-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now I have a lot of stuff on my schedule. It's great because I'm not working too hard for fall because I have a new job, and it's cool. So I'm not teaching all day all
Sure.
the time. I'm just
Yeah.
okay there. There's like 2 weeks off, so I'm gonna do that and that. I will try to do it great and write it on time. But so there's a lot of things to do.
And, yes.
Cardigan, I have 2 cardigan on the way. I discovered cardigan and I'm just in love with cardigans.
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. I love cardigans too.
I love it's because I made like 3 sweaters and they're so hot that I'm just wearing them like a few minutes and then removing them.
Yeah.
And then in March I finished my first cardigan, and even in March, which was starting to be more hot,
Yes.
I was wearing them and it's like it's open, so you have the arm.
Yeah.
I love the cardigan, so I'm gonna have a few in my on my Ravelry soon.
Excellent. I'm excited about that. That's great. One question I ask people is when you think about your inspiration and you think about people you admire in the fiber world, who would you say is your fiber hero?
Okay, I have two.
Good, because I was going to say I will give you. All of the other people said I have more than one. So go ahead. So absolutely go ahead.
There's it's not like being popular or whatever. It's really more when I started. There's le gars qui tricote. I think he's living near Ontario, Quebec. And then he helped me a lot. He was super nice with me. At that time it was more like on email, not on text, because it's another time.
A couple years ago.
And I have a lot of questions, and he was always nice answering me. And it was kind of fun to have another man that knits, that is good at it, that is passionate and wants to like share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be my first one. My second one, I don't remember his name because I'm bad at that. And I can find it and send it to you.
Yes, that'd be great.
It's still when I started.
Yes.
I found him on Ravelry and saw his knit. He was young. He was doing some cool knitting, making it like on trend and really not grandmotherish.
Sure. Yeah.
So I really follow him, and then I reached to him, and then he was also like another example of okay, you have the one that's passionate will help you, and you see another example of okay, that can be really cool.
Yeah.
It can be really on trend really now. It's not just a thing that is like, oh, I'm gonna do some knitting. Oh.
Yeah.
So that will be my 2-year-old. I'm gonna find his name. It's not known, but I remember his photo was really, really edgy.
That's fantastic.
With I remember he did something with Zimmerman. What's her first name?
Elizabeth
Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Zimmerman. He made a hat that I brought the book to make it too. But he knit a pom-pom, but not a pom-pom with like the strand. He knitted, put a ball inside it, and the way he was wearing it, I was like, okay, I really like. Okay,
that's great.
Yeah,
That's
so that will be my hero. More, I don't know if it's hero, but they really helped me going.
No, that's perfect. That's fantastic. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram Ravelry under Atelier Cliche.
Excellent.
Do you want to know why it's Cliche and not Cliche? Because my last name is
Yes,
Cliche.
we do.
I was confused about that because
everybody's been waiting this entire time to find out.
yes, it's not because cliche has to have a meaning specific to you, and it's cliche, and when we first started chatting, I was like, well, what is his name? It can't be Jean-Philippe Cliche. It's Jean-Philippe, but then that sounds French. And it's Jean-Philippe Cliche.
It sounds French.
And then it's actually
to
Cliche.
you English people.
And I'm like, Cliche is French, but Cliche because it has A, right? The A.
Exactly.
And then we all know Cliche, but we didn't. I was getting confused. I said,
it's because
when
Cliche
and it's Atelier Cliche.
Atelier Cliche, and then it's Cliche because, again, thank you, Karine. She helped me found that name because before that, all my life, when I was speaking to English people on the phone, they were like, "Hi, Mr. Cliche," and I'm like, "Oh, it's not cliche because cliche is a word in English, so people more. Okay, that's that." So I decided to use that and make it something beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. That's excellent.
Very good.
That's great.
That is
so Atelier Cliche, yes, on Instagram, Facebook also, but I don't post that much there. Mostly Instagram and Ravelry.
That's awesome. And it works. I think that the combination really works.
And I love that it's one of those things where you take that negative and then turn it into a positive, and then you own it. You own it.
Exactly. It's mine now. I'm all good with that.
Exactly. It's so good. That explains it. And it's funny for the Anglophones because they would think that your name is Cliche in the spelling, and that's not how you even spell cliche. Even when you say it in English, it's not spelled like that. No.
It's how do you spell it?
It would be like, well,
I think
that's a good
cliche.
point.
Yeah, it is because the cliche means
Yeah, we know what it means.
Yeah.
And you're not that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everybody's happy about that.
Yeah, yeah. And in French, cliché means something else. Cliché means like I take a picture and it's a cliché.
Yeah.
It's a cliché.
No, I didn't know
Cliché.
that. I didn't know that French.
Oh, yeah, we're learning so
that's
much.
a French word.
Yeah, it's a French too, but
Oh.
and cliché means cliché too.
Yes.
It means a cliché and cliché like oh my god, it's so cliché. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
today and showing off your stuff and spending time with us
It was
and
fun.
sharing with everyone. That was fantastic. I had a great time.
Yeah, me too.
And I want to say thank you as well because we've learned a thing or two, and
Or three.
and more so. And thank you for your time because we know that, as you mentioned, you've got a lot of projects and new designs on the go. So we very much appreciate your time coming to see.
It was my
and meet
pleasure.
with us. It was our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
I had so much fun interviewing him. He is so talented.
He's really a funny guy, actually. I loved his accent. And, his sense of humor comes through that French-Canadian humor.
Yes.
And he was quite animated.
He did pick up on some English subtleties that I was surprised that he picked up.
Yeah. And, as the interview progressed, he got more and more relaxed because we talked about initially how, when we start up an interview, we never know what to expect. I mean, we may have had a chat prior to or met briefly here and there. So we never really know what to expect from someone in an interview.
Well, I think watching some of the episodes that you've been in, I think you had every right to be a little nervous sitting so close to you.
I don't think so.
He was great, and yeah, I love his humor. I thought it was fantastic. I love his designs, and I love having the opportunity to understand where those designs came from.
Yeah, because as we mentioned, from very technical, very straightforward precision designing of industrial things. He explained some of the stuff he did, but I mean, he's had, like I mentioned, a varied background. So, straight lines. You imagine straight lines and numbers and technical and forms that have to be functioning forms as something industrial to produce in an end product. But with design wear, it's more creative. But then he takes that technical and incorporates that into his designs.
Yes, and I love the colors that he uses in his patterns as well, because you don't see that a lot in guys' patterns.
Well, he mentioned how, he may get it, he can pick up an idea absolutely anywhere he is. He'll see something, whether it's on an episode, as he mentioned, it could be an episode of RuPaul, an episode of anything that has maybe fashion, but it doesn't have to be fashion. It's just be walking about town and he spots something and he'll get an idea that he'll incorporate that little tidbit of information that he saw and then make a design his own using something so little to change an entire method of designing.
And I had no idea he designed children's toys. And I will tell you, when I saw the pattern of the child's sweater, it reminded me of Lego. So
interesting.
So I was really happy when we found that out.
And I mean, his hat, the one hat that he did show us, the hat with the square. So geometry, you think very geometric.
Yeah.
But the simplicity of it. But then it's all in the cut, the colors, and you have to come up with a pattern. And I had mentioned to him, like, a pattern, I mean, it's no different than doing something industrial, I would think, because there's still a lot of precision that goes into it with the math and the coordinating of how you want something to crisscross or go on a diagonal, or I'm not.
Well, you definitely have to have it. I mean, you have to be right, because you're going to hear about it from the knitting community if there's any errors. One thing we're great at is getting feedback on patterns. So, and his patterns are great. I knit the toque that we talked about in the interview. I've got a couple of his designs in my queue that I will be.
Queue.
Yes, I'm definitely going to knit the sweater as well, and he's got some great toques as well that I'll crank out this winter.
Well, I'm not there yet.
But yeah, well, you know what? You can start your Christmas list for other people, and you can use some of his patterns.
he's going to plan his upcoming works in progress whips, and he's going to choose mine as well, and then I'm going to go from there.
Just tell me where your list starts, because maybe I'm going to add some on my wish list. I'll put stuff on my wish list, because there's definitely some things in his Ravelry, some of his patterns that I would love to have as Christmas gifts.
Well, he does have a repertoire to choose from.
He does, yes.
I imagine, and I
Yeah.
know.
And you can even pick the color. I trust your judgment in color.
He had a very specific idea of when he starts his designs. He did talk a lot about color.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and but the interesting thing is too, he works with color, he loves color, but you can also see in his designs he's not married to it. There's other designs that he uses, like the Ive hat that he just made, which is they're basically, I thought that when I looked at it, I thought that it was undyed yarn. I thought he was using a beige and a lighter beige. But they were. I didn't notice that there were 3 colors in the hat.
Oh, he did mention the subtleties that he likes to use sometimes in his colors. He might do something very bold or add a bold color, but then that one specifically, he said how he likes to do the unusual, and that I think worked in its. The colors just sort of blended so well, and they didn't exactly just out there with extravagant color on that one.
And the other thing was when he was using one color, the fluorescent green color on the hat, you would notice that because of the stitching that he used, it looked like there were 2 different yarns that he was using. It looked like there was the green yarn, and then there was something with a black hue to it, but it was the shade that was created by the stitching. It was fantastic.
And he mentioned that was going to be part of the design in the way that he did it. That it would that sort of indentation of the stitching was going to create this varied light and different lighting color on that hat.
And then what about the name of his company, Atelier Cliche? That's very punk rock, by the way.
Well, that was really good because you think about what to expect, and we had this conversation, and I mentioned it to him as well because we talked about before it's Jean-Philippe Cliche, and it's like, well, his name is Cliche, it's not Cliche, and then I thought, okay, Atelier Cliche, and we going to everybody thinks, well, what is that about? So I'm really glad you asked the question because it's not at all what I expected.
Yeah. I love that name. I think it's perfect.
Well, it was all about such a topical topic.
A topical topic. I just wanted to also say thank you, Jean-Philippe, for sharing your time with us today because you helped me with my Christmas list. Now I've got so many fantastic ideas now of things that I want to knit, thanks to you and thanks to looking at your Ravelry account.
Well, I feel more inspired to, open my mind up to different ideas, different patterns, different challenges, and putting them all of what we learned to good use, and maybe I could produce something new and exciting on a list of people who may be lined up to expect something special knitted that might take me months.
So I just want to thank everyone for watching today. We really enjoyed the interview series. We really enjoyed interviewing Jean-Philippe, and thank you again so much for watching, and thanks for your comments. The comments have been fantastic coming in, and it really helps us figure out who we're going to interview next as well. So, on that note,
à la prochaine.
Au revoir.
Can we do it just like that other guy?
I was just wondering if would you mind if we
we
each put a hat on? Like, would you?
No,
for a photo. Because what we'll do is I'll just keep this running,
for the
and we'll look at for the thumbnail.
thumbnail.
Yeah.
No
Okay,
problem.
you know what you're talking about. Could I choose which
Pick the one you want. I'm gonna pick the other one. Yeah, you like the orange one.
Because I'm such a square.
It's gonna ruin your
Because
hair.
I'm such a square guy.
I think aesthetically it'd look better if I put this one on.
Yeah, no
But-
problem.
Okay, because
No.
then we've got two bright.
Why,
Yeah,
aesthetic-
perfect.
why aesthetically? What do you mean?
Well, because you've got the two bright ones on the outside and then that one in the middle,
Oh,
and it's split in half.
just like that?
Yeah, it's a bit crooked.
Oh, you better make it.
Yeah. I'm gonna ruin your hair.
We don't care that it moves back into place.
Okay, well, can I?
Because the shape is different.
Yeah, I like it.